The internet was built on the promise of a single, borderless network, a cheap and accessible global common. But that vision is currently being pulled apart, with digital connections retracting into isolated, heavily guarded territories. In June 2026 alone, the fractures are everywhere. A single video game title is dictating new financial standards for the entire industry. A French AI company is building tools specifically to bypass American infrastructure. And a single private firm is launching rockets every few days to claim the orbital paths above us. What connects an $80 game, a document scanner, and a massive satellite network? They are all signs of a massive shift in how power is held. Tech giants and regional governments are no longer operating in a shared space. They are building their own distinct digital environments. The open exchange of the early web is receding. We are moving into a period defined by corporate fiefdoms and strict digital sovereignty. Rockstar Games is currently testing the limits of its market leverage. By pricing the standard edition of Grand Theft Auto 6 at $80, they are forcing a new financial floor for the entire entertainment industry. This goes beyond a price hike. By removing physical discs in favor of digital codes and placing core mechanics like the new stolen goods fencing system behind a $100 premium tier, Rockstar is establishing a model where the publisher maintains absolute control over how the user accesses the product. While Rockstar controls the digital gateway, SpaceX is securing the physical one. They are currently launching a Falcon 9 rocket every 2.5 days to complete their Starlink constellation. By lowering the cost of reaching orbit to under $1,500 a kilogram, SpaceX has created a monopoly on global satellite infrastructure. It's a pace that legacy aerospace companies and even mid-sized nations are struggling to match. This centralization of orbital traffic has the scientific community on edge. Beyond the light pollution disrupting observatories, there is the growing risk of Kessler syndrome, a scenario where a single collision creates a cloud of debris that destroys everything else in its path. These organizations are doing more than selling services. They are building the fundamental infrastructure that dictates the rules of our digital and physical skies. As corporations build their own gates, governments are raising walls of their own. In June, the US government suddenly restricted access to Anthropic's AI models for users outside the country, leaving European firms that relied on that tech stranded without warning. Europe's response has been to focus on domestic self-reliance. Mistral's OCR4 was designed specifically to handle intelligent document processing on internal, local servers, removing the need to send sensitive data to American cloud providers. Technically, it maps the structure of a document rather than just reading the text. It uses bounding boxes to isolate tables and signatures, providing a confidence score for every word. This allows European banks and law firms to keep their data processing entirely within their own borders. We see similar walls being built in the financial sector through the EU's MiCA framework, a set of strict regulations governing digital assets. These rules are so demanding that major players like Binance are already pulling out of markets like Greece. For many firms, the cost of regulatory compliance in Europe is becoming higher than the value of staying in the market. Digital access is now becoming a matter of geography. Which tools you can use and how much they cost is increasingly determined by the jurisdiction you stand in. Centralizing technology into these massive platforms creates a new kind of vulnerability. Recently, a zero-day flaw in Cisco's Catalyst SD-WAN systems was exploited for 2 months before anyone noticed. Because SD-WAN systems act as the central gateway for a company's entire network, they are the primary target for state-sponsored hackers. Gaining access to this one node provides root-level control over every piece of data moving through the organization. As we move towards these heavily guarded, centralized environments, the risk stays the same. A single compromised entry point can expose everything inside the walls. By the middle of 2026, the digital landscape has split into a collection of competing, fortified territories. For those moving between these systems, the financial barriers are rising. Whether it's the $80 entry fee for a blockbuster game or the institutional volatility in the crypto markets, the cost of participation is higher than ever. Take the recent Bitcoin crash below $60,000. That drop triggered over $1 billion in liquidations and put immense pressure on companies that had used billions in debt to fund their crypto holdings. Every major organization now faces a choice: continue using US-based clouds and remain subject to foreign export controls, or invest in their own localized sovereign infrastructure. Navigating this fragmented world requires a deliberate approach. You are no longer just choosing a software provider. You are deciding with your capital and your data.